Big things happening with PlayStation. Let's hope it's actually something good for a change. Small chance, it's a console at the end of the day, but let's hope for the best, right?
Today, we have some very interesting PlayStation 6 rumors to dive into today. One in particular is a bit of a plot twist, if I'm honest, given how the industry.
Wait, is the current generation of PlayStation 5 or 6? I don't follow these things because I have brains. Are they releasing a new console? Like, I mean, it feels like the PS Pro just got released a month ago with the Concord tax. Are they already releasing another Concord tax disaster? Oh boy, this is not good.
Has been going. I'm very surprised to see that the PlayStation 6 will have a detachable disc drive at launch. This is huge because as someone who talks a lot about physical games, especially over on Retro Rebound, I mean, again, I always say, look at my room, like, it's extremely important to me. But I also understand, based off the stats I'm seeing, we're kind of the minority here. But given that we have the Switch 2 supporting physical games, and now we're seeing PlayStation 6 is going to move to support physical games, it looks like they may live on for another generation. Now, how exactly they do live on, like game key cards or actually full game on disc or on cart, is a conversation we'll have. But I'm really excited about this rumor. I'm also very interested in what's going on with the PlayStation 6 handheld. We're going to talk about that rumor that dropped last week, but also,
does the world need another handheld? I feel that there's already way too many handhelds to begin with.
Get Xbox involved. Everyone's going into handhelds right now, and while a lot of folks are saying the console wars are over, a new type of war is beginning.
Well, the console wars are literally over. Xbox blatantly surrendered to PlayStation. Now I know, if you're an Xbox fan, you're probably feeling a little bit triggered, but that is absolutely 100% true. They blatantly admitted it. They are going for the Netflix live service subscription model with Game Pass, which is, as we all know, a very profitable thing, and it's doing absolutely so well. Xbox literally tells us every week, which I obviously very much believe. Surely, it's doing great. And then there's the PlayStation service, live service subscription Game Pass model, which I don't even remember the name of because no one uses it.
And we'll dive into that. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you're into what's going on with gaming today, we're talking about PlayStation. I'm trying to get PlayStation more in the coverage. Their team doesn't like me because, I work with Last Stand Media, so anytime I try to review their stuff, they just don't answer, but I try my best to cover their stuff when I can. So if you want more of that, let me know down below. But otherwise, consider subscribing. So let's start off with where the news broke. This came from Insider Gaming, who originally, by the way, reported the PlayStation 5 would get a detachable disc drive. They say here, PlayStation 6 is planned to have a detachable disc drive on launch. The article begins, for the next generation of PlayStation, several sources who wish to remain.
Yeah, PlayStation 5 is the current generation of slop. Oh my god, they actually are gonna already release 5? I'm still not over the Concord tax. What do you mean you're gonna release the next one?
Anonymous, because they were not authorized to talk about the company plans, have said that the detachable disc drive is here to stay for the next generation. Identical to the PlayStation 5 and its detachable disc drive, customers will be able to buy the console individually as a digital console, bundled with the PlayStation 6 as a traditional console, or upgrade later by purchasing the detachable disc drive separately. This is also fantastic news.
There we go. Obviously, that's gonna be a premium, but I mean, console players don't really care.
Because it shows PlayStation, and hopefully others, as we'll talk about at the end of this video, Xbox, have really recognized that people have built their collections with physicals, and that you can't just tell them, oh, get over it, or whatever. Like, you have to support that in some way.
This is true. A lot of people have a lot of physical copies of the games they play if they're a PlayStation or Xbox player. The fact that 80% of sales are digital nowadays, well, it just tracks because there's not really that many easy ways to actually get physical copies of games in a lot of places in the world especially. But people still have things that they want to play with the physical copies. They don't buy new things physical, but they still have them. So most people want to have an ability to just insert the disc and be over with it.
somehow, and I find this to be a good compromise. Digital brothers and sisters, you get your digital only console no matter what. For physical brothers and sisters, we get our hands on a disk drive that we can attach and use our physical games. Would I have liked it to be part of the whole thing? Yes, but as we'll get into in a second, I kind of get with where the economy currently stands and tariffs. I get why PlayStation and others may
Do
be
you?
going this way to, we'll say, lighten the load on the console. So the article continues, according to one source, unless things are changed at the last minute, PlayStation is firm on the decision because the disk drive for the PlayStation 5 hit all the company's internal targets. Again, it was reiterated by the source that the decision was made to reduce manufacturing and shipping costs during uncertain times, likely referring to the tariff/trade war. These uncertain times have seemingly influenced PlayStation's decision on the look of the next PlayStation 2, as rumblings suggest that this time around, the PlayStation 6 will have a much simpler design than its
Also, we know that it's factual that new games are not being bought as much as previously, so people are playing old things. If you want to sell your console to a person who's not gonna buy the new games, or is not thinking of doing it at the bare minimum, you probably need to get them through the door. And getting them to use a new console that's better, that's gonna run the game a better probably than the old one, if there's compatibility, which I assume there's gonna be, because this could be them trying to get just people through the door to just buy the console, so maybe they're gonna spend more money on it later on. So this at least gives a reason for the old player base to buy the new one, because, well, people are really approaching the point where they have zero reasons to buy the new consoles because they're not good hardware wise. Their performance is just bad, even if they have decent hardware, and the games on it are typically trash. So there you go. There's so many reasons to not to buy the new console. It's insane. And this thing's probably going to be 1K. Okay, it's probably not going to be 1K, but it's going to be ridiculously expensive. This is the first year, or did it happen last year? This is the first time in life older consoles are now more expensive than have gone up in price. We are living in that time. It is insane. The console landscape is absolutely volatile.
predecessor, again to maximize efficiency, shipping space, weight, and so on. This might be the best news of the article because I hate, with a capital H, how the PlayStation 5 looks, man. Like, look, I don't usually care about this stuff. Like, do you play my game? Cool. You could look like a toaster for all I care. That'd be kind of cool. But the way the PlayStation 5 looks, I don't know who approved it, who went, that's our next generation system. Like, it's just, it's not charming in the slightest, where like 10 years from now I'll be like, oh, look at that funky little thing. It's like, it has none of that, man. The detachable sides and stuff, like,
It just needs to look futuristic. That's the approach they probably took.
it just, So simpler sounds great. I think of the PlayStation 3 Slim with the sliding top. Love that. Love also just the matte PlayStation 3 Slim that came out much later. I love how the PlayStation 4 looks even. Like, I do like a sleek Sony console. The PlayStation 2 Slim is another one. So going to that simpler look is the type of PlayStation hardware I prefer. So if it's that and it can channel a little bit of that nostalgia, which I think will be important a little bit, then that would be really sick here. But the article wraps up saying, even as late as this month, we can expect PlayStation to introduce a new PlayStation 5 Slim revision to the market, which will launch with an 825GB hard drive instead of the standard 1TB. It's also believed that, like with all PlayStation 5 revisions, the new revision will reduce the console's weight, indicating that PlayStation...
So this is roughly space for what, 5 modern day Western AAA games? Oh boy, isn't that great, boys?
PlayStation is trying to save pennies where and when necessary. Now, there's one thing I was thinking of when I saw the detachable disk drive is there are games even in PlayStation first party.
Oh, look at that, it's Spooderman. Are you happy? Are you happy? Do you want to go visit your deaf girlfriend and experience the world through her eyes and not ears? Yeah. This was fucking vote garbage.
that are pushing for having all of the games on disc. I remember when Spider-Man 2 was about to come out, Insomniac posted a message online saying the game contains the entire disc and is playable from start to finish with no patch or online requirement. Now they say, hey, for the best experience, we encourage physical/disc-based players to download the update on launch day. I think this again is a fine compromise. Like, hey, we met you in the middle, but also, as expected in today's day and age, we fixed some things last minute. You're probably going to want to check them out. And yeah, Spider-Man 2 was, like, to me, a pretty iffy game. There was a lot about it that I actually ended up not liking.
As a game, it could be better, it could be worse, honestly. Who cares? It's a Spider-Man game. You know what you're getting yourself into, honestly, right? But this was a financial disaster. Well, it wasn't truly that much of a disaster. It's nowhere near Veilguard or Assassin's Creed Shadows or Star Wars Outlaws or, you know, any of those games. But this still failed pretty aggressively. This bad boy is still probably like 100 million in the red, and that's not a good thing.
And I say that as, like, I mean, go look at Retro Rebound. I've, like, played every Spider-Man game. As a Spider-Man diehard, I was surprised of how critical I was of this game from top to bottom, but I hope Spider-Man 3 is much better. But the game was also kind of buggy, especially the final cutscene in the game. I won't spoil it, but yeah, it completely bugged out on me, and it looked terrible. And there was one time...
Well, oh yeah, these bugs were hilarious. I actually now remember. Spider-Man 2 was buggy when it released. You were a cube, you were a bicycle, you were a lot of things, but Spider-Man, okay? Not to mention Miles Morales' Spider-Man.
My clip went viral, but I was web swinging around as a cube. So yeah, that was also a very pleasant surprise. But hey, look, they said the whole game's on disc, so guess what I did? Bang. And I wonder if PlayStation has seen return on investment for that, where it's worth investing in a disc drive for games like this that are supporting physical more than others. Obviously, they also have access to third-party data. Are they seeing the same thing over there? I can't imagine this is just trade war, tariff stuff, simply because they just wouldn't bother making it at all if it wasn't necessary. So I do wonder what this means for Xbox, who has gone way more team digital. I wouldn't personally bet on Xbox.
Most people don't care about digital, honestly. Okay, owning things as physical is nice if it's an option, but most people don't care. The reality is most people don't care. And I know people in the comments are going to be, I care, but if you're watching this video, you care about consoles in general a lot more than the average person. So there is that to consider.
Meeting PlayStation in the middle here, I mean, you can see how many times they've tried to push all digital, and at least now feels like the most reasonable time to do it, given their, like, Game Pass and this whole...
God, this was the dumbest, stupidest Xbox commercial ever. Obviously a DEI black girl with dreads, because obviously. And then it's like, everything's an Xbox. Play your Xbox while you're eating sushi. Someone needed to get fired for that. I hope they didn't, because that's hilarious and I want to see more of these disasters.
Always online thing that they were pushing since the Xbox One, like, they're finally there with cloud streaming and everything. Like, I could see a world where Xbox doesn't do this, but this is where physical bros and sisters, like, this is our time. We can be the deciding factor in a generation again. Remember when PlayStation came out and just said, sharing your game, simple, and that completely broke the spine of the Xbox One when you couple that with the $100 difference. PlayStation can do it again. If Xbox doesn't support physical games, they can literally ignite the entire crowd saying, like, hey, you can still play your games here, and just do a nice, simple 30-second commercial like they did that one time, and it's all over. So I'm really curious to see what Xbox does, because they just show no signs. I mean, if you look at their first...
Xbox will probably keep failing and pumping out woke trash. PlayStation is going to be kind of mediocrity, but I guess when your opponent is Xbox, being mediocrity is literally victory.
Party games, like, they're all game keys, they're all licenses, and some first-party games haven't even had physical prints. Either that, or, like, I remember when Indiana Jones is about to come out, it's, like, impossible to find a physical edition, and when you do, it's worthless.
Well, no one's gonna buy Indiana Jones. No one bought it on Xbox, no one bought it on Steam, no one's gonna buy it on PlayStation, okay? Then, what is the point of Xbox giving their games to PlayStation if the Xbox games suck dick? Like Indiana Jones is a literal garbage dumpster fire. It's like a 2 out of 10 Dishonored clone at best, without the good bits.
That's why my Xbox collection, at least for this generation, is very slim compared to everything else, because it's very rare that I find a game that I play and I'm like, oh, this is fully on disc. That's why I love the Does It Play website. They provide like full breakdowns of like, can you play it here offline? And that's usually how I guide my modern day purchasing decisions. But now the conversation gets even more interesting, because just last week we got this rumor from Moore's Law is dead. And it's covered here by Video Games Chronicle, saying Sony is reportedly planning a Nintendo Switch-style PlayStation 6 portable. It's our time. I have been waiting for this moment. If you can channel any of this energy here. You remember why this console...
To be honest, does that actually work for Sony? I think the market is definitely oversaturated with handhelds, but does this actually work for Sony? Because Mario's like a ridiculously massive IP. It's one of the biggest IPs, in fact, in gaming, and in the world in general, I guess. And, I mean, everyone's gonna buy Mario on a handheld. If I would play Mario, it would probably be on a handheld, if we're being honest.
I mean, there were a couple of reasons, right? Remember the infamous PSN hack that took down the servers for a really long time and nobody could play online on PS3? I think it was happening through like Christmas, like really bad time for PlayStation.
I'm pretty sure PlayStation gets hacked like once a month at this point. Their security is beyond garbage, okay? Giving your data to PlayStation is literally giving it to the whole world for free.
And well, it turns out there was something exposed on the back end of the Vita where that could have happened again, and so they pretty much had to kill the system. That was one of the leading reasons. The other leading reason that the Vita went up in flames, even though it never should have, but I get this part, is development budgets for making a game on this were the same as making a, say, PlayStation 3 game. And when that was the case, and the PS3 install base was much larger than like the 10-ish, if we're lucky, million people who got this, a lot of people went, well, why would I make a Vita game? Why don't I just make like a PlayStation 3 game for the same price and sell it to more people? Or you'd see what happened with games like, say, Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster, where they would have a Vita version and a PS3 version. Like, that was usually the compromise. Vita exclusives, unless they were first party, were incredibly rare, and now most Vita exclusives have been ported off the console. So just before we dive into this PlayStation handheld and this handheld market makes a ton of sense, simply because it kind of brings the Vita's vision back of console-based handheld games, except now we're seeing a lot of handheld PCs are powerful enough to run the console games that we play nowadays everywhere. So it's not like developers are going to have to make a choice, like make it for the PlayStation handheld or make it for the console. It's like it can be both, kind of like how it once.
Yeah, it's gonna run poorly on anything and everything. You got that right one, Matty, okay? Dude. Consoles can't run shit properly. Okay, when was the last time we got a console game that was 60 FPS and didn't stutter? That had actual graphical fidelity, not fakery? Probably never. And, well, the idea that handhelds are going to be as good as that, I mean, obviously they're going to be below that. But that's why, again, if PlayStation makes a handheld and then just sell Mario on it, I think that could be successful, as stupid and strange as this to say.
Was, but for more games, given there's more SKUs to develop for, that can kind of transition. Like maybe your Series S version transitions well into your PlayStation 6 portable version. But let's start breaking it down. Video Games Chronicle writes, that's according to Moore's Law is Dead, a YouTube channel that has previously leaked accurate technical info on PlayStation consoles before their announcement. In a new video, Moore's Law is Dead shares specific technical specifications for the PlayStation 6 handheld, which will reportedly release alongside a traditional, more powerful PlayStation 6 home console, which it says is based on up-to-date documentation from graphics partner AMD. Notably, Moore's Law says it's seen multiple documents that directly call out that the planned PlayStation 6 portable can be docked like a Nintendo Switch, and claims that it will be capable of playing games natively at power exceeding that of the base PlayStation 5 when docked. The PlayStation 6 portable will report.
Oh, Jesus. Also, my new PC is probably here. That's right, boys. We're upgrading. Let me answer this. Well, good news, boys. The new computer is here. 3K. It should be pretty good for all of my stuff. And, well, I honestly, well, we're ending the video here because new computer, which I'm probably not gonna use until tomorrow because I hate setting up things. Like and comment if you also hate upsetting things. Anyway, that was Mr. Matty Plays 10 out of 10. Bye.